Anyone else lose their mind when their sister got married? I forked a dude in the parking lot of her wedding. Like, that's not even the worst part. Nobody prepared me for how hard it is for your sister to get married. And I'm not saying this, it's for different reasons for me, I think. I think some people are like, it's hard for their sister to get married, maybe because they're not married yet, or because they want to get married. I didn't want to get married. I wasn't jealous or anything like that. Like, I honestly didn't think I would ever get married because I honestly thought men were like trash. I still think that, more or less. But I just didn't think any man would ever make my life better, right? It was not a jealousy thing or like, comparison thing. It was literally like, oh my God, I'm all alone to deal with my family. In fact, when my sister told me that she was engaged, I bought a one-way ticket to South America and stayed down there for 8 months because I was like, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. Like, what do I do now? I mean, I'd been on my own, doing my own thing for a really long time. But you know that thing where like, whenever I go home and hang out with my family, like my sister was like we would like kick each other under the table whenever my dad said something unbelievably inappropriate, or whenever anything was happening in my family, like she was like my partner, right? Like my partner for life. And now, I started to like, she started bringing him around, and I'm like, she's kicking him under the table when my dad says something horrifying. You know what I mean? So I'm like, oh no, like I have lost her. And I didn't really realize like that was behind a lot of my really impulsive, crazy decisions, like moving to South America for a while with no plan and like no money. I went into so much debt, and I was like working on a strawberry farm. I was couch surfing. I found a good job teaching English, but like it was like one of the hardest trips I've ever been on because I was just like, I don't know what to do. I got to get out of here. I feel abandoned. No, that's a whole nother video. I mean, that's where I like forked a clown, but I'm not even joking. Forked a clown. But I was kind of lost. I didn't know what to do without my sister. But it all started but I didn't realize like maybe there was like something else going on until like at her wedding. I was like her maid of honor or whatever. It was a really small wedding. It was really cute, intimate. It was really beautiful. She's such a great party planner. She always has been. She marched down the aisle to like a violin or a cello playing the Star Wars theme, like Darth Vader, like like they had like her like a game master of like Dungeons and Dragons game master of her husband, like their friend, like marry them. It was such a special like wedding that was catered to them. And so I knew some of her friends, and I had my family there, and I gave a great speech. This is when I realized that I'm a great wedding speaker. I made them laugh. I made them cry. I mean, I knew I was a good storyteller, like comedy-wise, but when I realized I could make people cry too, I was like, dang. But there was a hot guy in the audience. Oh, also, this is like, I bought this dress the day of her wedding. I hated wearing dresses then. I was such a tomboy. I didn't wear makeup. I didn't have my hair done. Like, I was such a tomboy. So it was a really big deal that I wore a dress. And heels. I didn't even wear heels to my own wedding. But there was this guy there, and I was like, dang, who's that guy? And he thought I gave a great speech. Now, I did do a lot for my sister's wedding, even though I really didn't know much about marriage or weddings. I'd been to plenty, but I didn't really know what it really took to put on a wedding. I was the sober driver of the van. So there was a shuttle that was going to run back and forth from the reception place to people's hotels. And my sister asked me to be the sober driver for anybody who needed a ride home at the end of the night. And I was like, sure. So I had a rental van all to myself. And I don't drink. I haven't drank since like 2004. So I am a reliable person to get people home. And everyone always thinks I'm wasted because I have more fun than anybody. So I did that. And I did like a slideshow for her. Like I put together all these cute photos of us. This is right before we went to a Michael Jackson concert at the University of Tennessee football stadium. And holy crap, still the craziest thing I've ever been to. We needed binoculars because we were that far away. All these cute photos of us, kids, first day of school. Look, I was obsessed with Michael Jackson. Look, I'm wearing this every day in all my photos. Great. I did all the things that you're supposed to do, right? Maybe not enough, but all the things I knew to do. And because I have so much fun being sober, I was also like dancing crazy and all that stuff. Now, my mom saw me flirt. And this is the first time my mother has ever gotten involved in my dating life whatsoever. But she saw me, by the way, that thing behind me is my dog. We share this chair because I spoiled him. God. She saw me flirting with this guy. And she came up to us. I swear, this is so unlike her. She was like, "Are you going to ask my daughter to dance or what?" And he was like, "Well, yes, ma'am." So I started dancing with him. Mind you, this guy, if my mom knew this, she would be horrified. He had been working at a telephone kiosk in the mall for like a year. Like that was his job because he had a hard time finding a job because he'd been to prison for selling, Now, given that I went to like kid jail for, my mom would have been horrified that we shared this in common. I didn't go to prison, but whatever. So him and I danced and we flirted and the photographer got photos of us together. I hated that hat. I even got one of us dancing together. I just want to point out my face. Like he was kind of funny and all, but I just remember being like, ugh, like. Anyway, this was back when I was only hooking up with people when I was out of town. This was like during my I don't even go on dates. This was during my long celibacy time. I think this is what broke that celibacy time for a little bit. Because I realized oh, this can be really fun. Even if the guy sucks some bun and doesn't eat, it can still be fun. But I lived in New York. Even New York is too small for me. I didn't want to hook up with someone and see them again. So I remember thinking this guy's cute and my sister's all taken care of. It's all good. So after she left, nobody wanted a ride home. Nobody. I'm like, I got to ride home. They got a van. Nobody wanted to ride home. I guess they all had their own drivers. So me and Hat Guy wait around and then we hang. I was like, I'll give you a ride home. Now, mind you, he was I don't even know where he was staying. I think he was staying in a hotel far away or at a friend's house. Or I don't even know. I don't remember. So we hung out in my van, my rental van. We started to have schmegs in the rental van. And then there's this tap, tap, tap on the window with a flashlight. And I was like, oh my God. And it was, so we rolled down the window and it's the lady who's the security guard of this botanical garden. And she's like, you guys can't be here. We're trying to close the gate. I was like, I'm sorry. So we go back to the hotel. Now I am sharing a hotel room with my parents, my dad and my stepmom. Now it's not the same bedroom. It's the Radisson Suites or something. It was a little living room with two little separate bedrooms, one of those hotels. But I didn't want to bring them in there because I didn't want to have to sneak them in. So we hooked up in the van in the parking lot of the hotel. I remember he kept wanting to go in the hotel room. I'm like, no, I don't want you to go in there. I don't want to deal with maybe waking up my parents. And he's like, well, we're supposed to use the bathroom. I was like, there's bushes right there. We're right. I was like, look, I lived in a truck for 5 years. You can pee in the bushes in the parking lot of Ramada Inn or Radisson or whatever. He's like, I don't know. I just remember being oh man, if I ever date men, am I going to run into this problem where I'm tougher than all of them? What? Yeah, that actually did become a problem. Anyway, we kept hooking up in the van and finally it was too cold. So I snuck them into my hotel room. So then we're trying to have quiet schmegs in the hotel room. I think we turned the TV on really loud. So it was a Golden Girls rerun while we're trying to have fun. And mind you, he did not eat this and was not good in bed. It was a fun adventure, And then the next morning, my parents were in the living room. He kept trying to talk and I'm like, stop it, you shut up. So I had to wait for them to leave to go to the breakfast buffet. And I thought they left and I hid him in my little bathroom. Don't you leave here. Went outside and I was like, oh, hey, they were right there, right next to my door. And I was and they're like, how was your night? I was like, good, And they're like, oh, did you hang out with your friend? I was like, yeah, we hung out really late, and then he went home. I was 34, by the way. So, y'all probably oh, she's 22. No, I was 34. So finally they go to get, waffles and stuff at the buffet. And I'm like, go, 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 go. And I run him out the fire exit to get him out of my room. And I'm like, that was fun. Bye. And then I casually walked over and grabbed a waffle and ate and sat and ate breakfast with my parents. And I just blah, 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 oh yeah, we just, danced and then, and I never saw him again. But he did friend me on Facebook. And then I found out later on Facebook that he got arrested at the LA airport for protesting because they lost his luggage or something. I don't know. Shortly after, I ended up leaving for South America, and that's where I forked a clown and kind of blew up my life. Yeah, it's hard when your sibling gets married. Maybe go to therapy, You got stuff to work out. It's still one of the biggest losses of my life, and I wish someone had prepared me for that.